today. I am an English major. Unlike many of them, though, I am getting a minor in ESRM. So I'm going to start this off with just a quick question, which you do not need to answer. When you think of video games, what is one of the first things that comes to mind? Wouldn't shock me if you thought about these people. And I wouldn't blame you, because they are classics, they've been doing this forever, and I'm a big fan of their work. But it's not what comes to mind for me first. What I usually think of is Ethan Winters, a man who sacrifices everything to try and protect his family. I think of Joel and Ellie, a duo that meet under horrible circumstances to travel across an apocalyptic United States and build a bond that is completely unbreakable. I think of Arthur Morgan, a man who, when confronted with the sins of his past, realizes he wants to change, but doesn't believe that he deserves that path of redemption. See, video games have some really, really cool stories, and I'm a little disappointed to say I don't think we get to talk about them enough. As English majors, we talk a lot about books, we talk about movies, TV shows, poems, music sometimes if we're lucky, but I feel like I never get to hear people talk about some of the incredible storytelling power that video games have. And this isn't just me saying this, because some of these video games have been turned into incredible award-winning TV shows. The Last of Us, which was streamed on HBO Max, Fallout, which was streamed on Prime, both of these being award-winning TV shows that have done incredibly well and are getting second seasons, and so many others, which you might recognize a couple of them up here. These games had such incredible stories that reached so many people, but what it really took was taking them and putting them into a medium that more people in the general public were just willing to digest a little bit easier. But I want to push for video game stories to be accepted as what they truly are. So why am I talking about video games? I love them. They've been a massive part of my life for so long. When I was really little, my parents made the horrible mistake of buying a Wii, and I was off to the races, couldn't be stopped. I've also written a lot about video games here while I'm in Channel Islands. I've written about Resident Evil Biohazard, Resident Evil Village, big fan of Resident Evil if you can't tell. I've also talked about The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption 2, and many more. Those are just some of my highlights. And again, I'm genuinely upset sometimes that I feel like video games are underrepresented in our field with how incredible some of their stories are. Luckily though, if we didn't want to talk about them, we wouldn't have to change too much. Video games already follow a lot of the patterns we use today. Joseph Campbell's Steps for the Hero's Journey, which I think every English major is very familiar with it by this point. Resident Evil Biohazard hits that beat for beat the entire way through, which I think is pretty cool. Beyond that, a lot of these stories can be broken down using the same lenses we use in literary theory every single day. The Last of Us focuses on Joel for the most part, that's who you play as, but under a feminist lens, we could focus on Ellie and how being a young woman changes her experiences going through the apocalyptic United States. Red Dead Redemption 2 focuses on Arthur Morgan, however through a post-colonial lens, and most likely focus on some of the Native Americans or African Americans after the Civil War, when slavery was a very recent thing, and Native Americans were being pushed out of their homes as people went west following Manifest Destiny. Another really cool things about video games that I think are a reason to push for them to be in academia is they have some pretty cool advantages. Accessibility-wise, if you're someone who has ADHD, you have trouble sitting still, like myself, they can help with that because they're very interactable. If you're someone like my sister who has dyslexia, don't worry, you don't have to read that much. The interactability also has some other advantages. For one, the player's choice matters, and I think that is an incredible aspect that isn't talked about enough. That means that as they make choices, not only does the ending of the game change, but how the world around the player changes as well. It no longer just becomes a reflection of the story, the time that it's in, or where it's set. It becomes a reflection of the player and who they are. Another incredible thing is the diversity that video games allow, because the character gets to become whoever you want. The player can make it of a reflection of who they are, who they want to be, their parents, their best friends, or they can just press random about 100 times and go, yeah, that looks good, and continue on with their life. So what's next? Obviously, I don't expect everyone here to just accept this message. I don't expect Professor Carswell to go home today and go, I have to change my syllabus. I need video games next semester. That's unreasonable. What I hope today is that each and every one of you, teachers, my fellow classmates, the family who's here to see your student present their incredible work that they've done, next time you're given the opportunity, the chance to play a video game, don't treat it like a waste of time. Don't think it's just something to burn the daylight away. Take the opportunity. Enjoy the experience. Because I'll bet you'll be surprised. Thank you very much.